You look at a show called The Five. It comes on at 5 o'clock on Fox News. And you look at what they talk about every day. It's racism and sexism. Well, they did it again. They talked about Kamala Harris in the context of Afghanistan. I'll let you hear it for yourself. Listen to this.
Was somehow involved in the decision, and it was her wise guidance that he was relying upon. Listen, she was the last in the room in Afghanistan. She was the border czar, and she was the deciding vote on trillions of inflationary spending. On those three most popular Joe Biden items, she's basically like a conjoined twin. You cannot separate the two. And let's talk about foreign policy. What is her foreign policy? This is where the president has his most impact. You have a lot of room to maneuver there as commander in chief. We don't know who she is. We don't know what she believes. She's going to get paralyzed in the Situation Room while the generals have their way with her. Right now,
Jesse,
I don't like that.
Figuratively,
Take
again,
it back.
have their way with her, control her, not in a sexual way. You're now having F-16s getting sent over to Ukraine, and Ukraine's actually now have their way with her, control her, not in a sexual way.
Look at that smug, nasty, white supremacist, misogynist face right there as he's pretending that he didn't mean exactly what he meant. They're going to have their way with her is disgusting. Again, plenty of space to criticize Kamala Harris. Plenty of space to criticize her foreign policy. Although I suspect these Fox News people wish she were more of a warmonger, more of an imperialist, as opposed to the opposite. But when he says that they'll have their way with her, those generals, even the most obnoxiously racist and sexist hosts in the world at Fox News, including the women, stood up and said, enough, too far. I don't like that. Take it back. Now, they said it tongue in cheek so that they could, they could say that on the record, they said, take it back, but they're snickering too. You hear Greg Gutfeld snickering too. And now you got Jesse Waters snickering. And then when he says, I didn't mean it in a sexual way, look at that face. Does that look like somebody who's contrite? Does that look like somebody who wishes he hadn't said it? This is human garbage. This is human garbage. When you watch someone make light of something inappropriate, here's the thing, even if he didn't mean it that way, once he realized that it was being taken that way, he found pleasure in it. He found joy in being able to say that. This is the world we're in. I mean, you got Judge Pirro, Jeanine Pirro. No fan of hers at all. Even she said, I don't like that. That smirk, man, I can't get over that smirk. We need to call this out every time. We need to hold people accountable every time. Doesn't mean you got to be a Kamala fan. Doesn't mean you got to do backflips over her or anybody else. But this is the type of behavior, the type of language, the type of rhetoric that gets people hurt, that normalizes rape culture, that normalizes the hatred of women, and particularly Black women. And it doesn't have to happen. Except maybe it does in these kind of places. Because they don't want to engage legitimate arguments. They don't want to have a political debate. They want to remind the world that they hate women and that they really hate Black women. And if you think she ain't Black, she damn sure being treated like one. And the problem is, the more outraged we become, the more disgusted we demonstrate that we are from people like Jesse Waters' words. All that does is make the right more outraged, because then they say, look how sensitive these liberals are. Or they're just pro-rape. They're pro-violence against women. They're pro-extra violence against Black women. And in that context, our outrage mobilizes them more. So it's win-win for them. So only thing we can do is hold him accountable and try to shut him down. It's the only thing that we can do that makes sense.